In the heart of change, where shadows dance, midlife women take a brave stance. From career shift to emptiness, facing challenges, they do their best. Health and wellness, mind and soul, seeking balance to make them whole. Empowered voices, they rise and shine. On this journey they define. Confused to focus with Lekeisha, guiding hearts through life's transition. From confusion to clarity, finding strength in unity, holistic wellness, personal growth. Together we rise, fulfilling all. In the glow of dawn, new paths unfurl. Every woman a radiant pearl. Holistic health and wellness goals, nurturing minds, bodies, and souls. Self-discovery in every stride, breaking barriers, no longer hide. Achieving dreams, they set their sights. With Lekeisha, they ignite their confused to focus with Lekeisha, guiding hearts through life's transition. From confusion to clarity, finding strength in unity, holistic wellness, personal growth. Together we rise, fulfilling all. From confusion to focus, we'll find our way. With Lekeisha's wisdom, we'll seize the day.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha. This is where we go into a deep dive to understand the elements of being stuck and going to being unstuck. I'm so excited for us to have a great conversation today because we're going to be talking about something I think that is going to be so meaningful for each and every one of us. We're going to be talking about these blocks, these red flags that are really plaguing us, to really holding us down and really not letting us go. And we don't know what to do. It's really causing a lot of trauma when it comes to business, health, family, relationships, all the community, everything, and if you want to break out of it, being on this show today, you're going to learn some tools and learn some information in order for you to actually break free. So I'm looking forward to us having this amazing conversation. But you know what you can do for me right now, definitely make sure you subscribe to this amazing channel. Invite a friend. Let them know what we're going to be talking about. Definitely if they're dealing with it as well. I promise you're going to be definitely restored and definitely receive some clarity moving forward ahead. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's not going to be a long show. It's going to be a really power-packed show, though. But it's really going to definitely let you know that you can thrive and you can win and you can always excel. I promise you truly will. Let's go. I am so excited, family, for this amazing episode because I really believe it's going to be power packed and it's going to be influential for all of us moving ahead. We have a lot of people that's listening to this episode, family. We have a lot of people from Instagram, definitely. Instagram family, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Jamie Lane Wise, definitely. Thank you so much, my producer. Definitely, we have Songbird here. We got DJ Lay. Thank you so much for being here on Instagram, and definitely we always have LinkedIn with us as well, and we have Facebook. Thank you so much for coming in, and definitely thank you, studio audience, as well, for being here with us, because we're going to be talking about something I think that's plaguing each and every one of us. And honestly, honestly, we need to know if this is a problem for us. And I say it this way for a reason. A lot of times we don't realize it's a problem because we have been so mute to it. It's been normal for a while. Sometimes chaos can be so normal, and definitely when we know it's actually not good for us, just like maybe an alcohol beverage, maybe one too many, or maybe just, like, some cigarettes or whatever. I'm just bringing up things that may be a problem. Maybe you said, yes, this is something I don't want to do, but honestly, I'm still doing it. So you always want to make a choice to make decisions that are going to be well for you. So we're going to get into it today, family, just talking about some of those elements and some of those red flags that we are really becoming unaware of, and we need to really maintain freedom and understand how we can actually break free from it. So we're going to go ahead into the first question that we have from our listening viewers that provided for each and every one of us. And I believe it's going to be definitely a benefit for you guys. Let's go. What are some common red flags that indicate a toxic pattern in a relationship or work environment? Ooh, this is really great. One thing that we have to be honest with, honestly, some of the main plagues that we are dealing with, like manipulation, a lot of times when we're being manipulated, you know what I'm saying? We're being pretty much coerced in doing something that we know we don't really want to do, but we're doing it anyways. And we're doing it for something that is really soothing for us. I don't know if it's a relationship or maybe it's a place of employment that you don't really want to be at, but you're going ahead and doing it because it creates great income for you, money and things of that nature. And, sometimes that could be something, or it may be family member. It may be, it's my family, I just, my family, I really appreciate them, but you know what? They mean well. I'm gonna look over that what they just said at that moment. It could be it could be manipulation in so many different ways. Tongue tied, family, isn't that funny? So it's so many different ways. And I would say constant criticism. A lot of times when we're constantly criticized by whatever it is, it can be by the things that you're doing, maybe the place of work, maybe clothing, maybe just how your attire, maybe how you look. Constantly criticized. It could be anything. Definitely in school. A lot of schoolmates are constantly criticized because they're, who they are, maybe how you look, how they think you should look. Or maybe you're just not doing anything, but maybe they're just, irritated by the fact that you're just being very calm. You're very, very high spirited. They're not feeling high spirited. They're not feeling really something engaging, but you know what? You are. So it's an issue. Sometimes they're criticizing you on that. It could be whatever it is. It could be just maybe a competition for a place of employment or a competition for a platform or whatever it is. It can be something like that as well. Isolation. Have you felt isolated? Let me know if you felt isolated. If you felt like, you were shunned in place. I always call it like that. When you're put in a position where, you just really can't feel like you can't win, but you're isolated. Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to communicate with you. That happens a lot. Just isolation. Just think about the things where you feel isolated. You just weren't told, some areas in life that you can win at, or maybe you weren't told about the party. Just isolated, or just isolated in areas where, you really want to get things done for yourself, but you really just don't have the time to do it because, nobody is really having your back with it. So you're isolated, stay where you're located at. It could be places of employment. It could be things that you do. Sometimes you do things so well, but they pretty much isolate you and just hopefully not want to move forward in anything. So they kind of look over you for promotions, look over you for those things like that. That happens like that when it comes to isolation as well too. And a lot of areas, when it comes to just winning in different areas of life that we want to win. A lot of times isolation can happen with that. It can happen with career. It can happen with our, with our community, with the people around us, and definitely with family members. Sometimes you feel isolated. Gaslighting. Gaslighting, that's a famous word. A lot of times when you're feeling gaslighted, most of the time when you're feeling gaslighted, most people don't realize it's happening. They're really being calm in spirit and just really being uplifting, really at one time, and they're always praising you, but then they turn the switch and it began to really just make you feel bad for certain things. That happens a lot when it comes to gaslighting. And a lot of times, those behaviors are really happening. Let me know if you felt that way too. Let us know what that feels like for you. Let us know. Raise your hand. Definitely let us know if that is something that you embarked as well too, because I know that is a really, really huge issue. And of course, of lack of respect of your boundaries. A lot of times, having lack of respect to your boundaries, a lot of times we have that happening maybe in your community or in your family, or maybe at your workplace of work or in your business. A lot of times when you're not getting the respect that you should have, a lot of times that can be an element that is issue, and that is a really, really huge issue a lot of times that we're having. Just recognizing, just being able to have, these, behaviors and being acknowledging of them, it really helps for us to be able to take action on it. We have to acknowledge it and begin to see, hey, wow, this is actually happening with me. This is actually something that is a really an issue for myself. I really need to think about it and actually take charge and actually do something about this. And honestly, I believe that is going to be a benefit for yourself. And honestly, when you begin to recognize that, those toxic patterns and those issues, those red flags that really come up, those behaviors, those are something that you can really jot those down, and then you can take action and actually begin to overcome them and actually do something different. This question was really amazing, family. I really appreciate it too. As we continue, how can you differentiate between a temporary conflict and a toxic pattern? Ooh, this is good. This is really good. Now, when it comes to this, I'm going to break it down to you. When it comes to having a temporary conflicts, because that happens, right? Like, a temporary issue, like, a lot of times it can be a growth, process. Honestly, you can go to get to a resolution. Having a misunderstanding in something, maybe when you're dealing with your colleague or maybe you're dealing with your business partner, those are temporary. It's like you just need some clarity. This conversation, maybe sit down and just sit down with them and say, listen, this actually is not really something that we can actually ignore. So we can begin a process to come to a resolution really quick and easy when it comes to, just having the temporary, issue there and the temporary, conflict, that's something that can be done quickly. Now, toxic patterns. Toxic patterns is something that cannot be just done overnight. That's something that really needs to take deep dive and actually begin to focus on how to actually have a change. And honestly, those are actually something that really is persistent, and it can be very draining. It can be very draining. And a lot of times when we think about that, we really understand that it's something that is just, we really can't really handle it. So when we think about, having these toxic patterns in our life, a lot of times you have to think about some of those elements, like negative talk, negative self-talk. Those are issues that really is something that we just, can't alleviate really quickly, when it's happening constantly. Now, mind you, have it at one time, yeah, you can see that. But if it's a constant behavior, this constant negative talk all the time, that can be really draining for yourself. Honestly, and because it's persistent, that's something that you really, really just have to begin to do some changes within yourself and begin to understand that there's something that is created a habit for yourself. And we really got to begin to understand what's happening here. If you're talking to yourself and you're saying something that's negative all the time, that is stem from a lot of low self-esteem, honestly, and self-doubt. And honestly, it's a real challenge, and you really can't persevere until you acknowledge that fact that this happening and really begin to say, hey, this self-talk is really not going to be a benefit for myself, and I really got to begin to do something, change, do drastically making some changes. A lot of times, it usually coming past when somebody else will tell you, somebody that's a trusted friend, somebody that can connect with you and say, listen, I noticed that your behavior is a little bit different and it's really negative. I really, want to know, is everything okay? Is there something that we can talk about? Is something that we can really come connect with, that we can actually begin to strategize a solution? A lot of times, that's something that we need to really begin to understand, because a lot of times it can be very draining. A lot of times when it's draining, you're losing confidence, motivation, and your joy. You're not really feeling very joyful and very happy. A lot of times we have that happening to all of us. And, that's something that we definitely need to think about. Now, people pleasing. A lot of times when we're people pleasing constantly, we're always making sure everyone else is good. Everyone else is good. But, are you good? Are you good? So it's all about mix and switch really quick, just to really just put your mask on first before anybody else. Put your mask on first before anybody else, because you have to begin to do that process for yourself and begin to really take account in what is going to be great for you. The people pleasing, definitely the self criticism and it's talking in certain ways is really just not a great it's not a benefit for yourself. And it's really not going to actually turn into something good unless you have this drastic change. Our toxic relationships, let's not forget that. The toxic relationships that happens in our life. A lot of times when they're, toxic relationships, they're draining. Definitely when you're dealing with family members, that's happening. A lot of times that's happening. A lot of emotional stress, and definitely it's emotional abuse. A lot of times that can be happening too, in relationships. And a lot of times that's happening. That needs to be rectified and actually to begin to grow into a solution that's going to be well for you. A lot of times our emotional state of being, because it's affecting a lot more than just you. It's affecting your environment. It's affecting the people around you, your community, everything. And honestly, you soaring to the next level. And, it's really something that definitely needs to be made aware of. And definitely when they're persistent, and this constant dragging you into a state that's not going to be well with you. Not only is it really something that's happening on the outside, but it's things that's happening on the inside of yourself. And it's really something that you really got to be meaningful for you. And a lot of times when it's draining, it's bringing on a whole lot of stress and a whole lot of exhaustion. And honestly, it's really just not really being a great way for yourself if it's not being recognized and not being acknowledged and actually coming to a great solution. It really isn't. And it's really something that you really got to think about. And you really got to begin to understand how you can actually do something different moving forward ahead. I would say also definitely the victim mentality. A lot of times that happens, being in the victim mentality too. It's something that we need to think about too when we're being the victim. Always being the victim. Oh, woe is me. All the problems are always happening. This is happening. Now, it is all about wanting to have a solution, for whatever's happening around you and to you. But it's something that you need to really take account in when it comes to actually understanding to be aware of. Definitely being aware of that moving forward. It really is something that you definitely need to be aware of. And definitely understanding the fear of change. A lot of times we fear change. Oh my goodness, when we move to a new location, new job, a new community, when change actually happens, because that happens, each year things do change. But a lot of times the fear of it, it's like, oh my goodness, this is really not going to be well. I don't know. I don't really like the fact that it changes. We have to do something different. I like it to stay the same. But a lot of times it does not stay the same. But we have to be equipped to understand how we can actually move forward into a place where we can actually be better for ourselves, to understand and embrace the changes and actually being able to have something, in your processes where you can actually begin to understand how it could be a great thing for yourself. Actually beginning to understand how you can be familiar with it and actually move forward into a better way. And it's always going to be great for you. This is really great question. This is really, really great. I really enjoyed this. Wow. This is great. As we continue, what role does self-awareness play in recognizing toxic patterns in yourself and others? I love this. A lot of times what we can do is we can begin, to self-reflect. And we begin to actually begin to a process of journaling. You can begin a process of really meditation. You can begin a process of therapy, whatever it is, if therapy with a therapist, or you can have therapy in so many different ways. I believe we talked about this before, definitely when it comes to music therapy, definitely therapy, when it comes to, actually drawing and actually doing some type of things like that, actually doing your meditation, sound healing. Those areas will always be a great benefit for yourself because it's really going to be able to restore you. Honestly, it's going to put you in a position where you are restored. And honestly, you can begin to guide yourself in a great mindset versus thinking about everything else, thinking about the clutter, thinking about how to fix certain issues, how to fix, certain elements of life that you really don't have any control over. But you know what you got control over is you. You got control over you. So you can start one day at a time and you can begin to start processes and actually begin to engage yourself. Maybe it's a time for a vacation, vacay, and it's time for, just a relaxation moment. Go to a movie, and also, you know what? Our famous word, rest. Maybe it's time for you to sleep. Actually get a full 8 hours of sleep, or, definitely begin to manage that and begin to actually schedule it and make sure that you're getting that. A lot of times you just need to be restored. And a lot of times when we think about restoration, we need to actually take account into that because you guess what? You are sowing into yourself and you're actually beginning to take a hold of making sure that your life is well, making sure your body is well, making sure that everything is restoring yourself. And then you can really think clearly. You can begin to think clearly and you can begin the process of understanding yourself even more. And also, you can begin the process of understanding what you want to do next. When you're able to rest and when you're able to actually get a good night's sleep, or when you're able to actually maintain your patterns and then life moving forward ahead, but actually putting some of these processes in place, you actually think better. You actually come a hold of thinking of different activities and things to do. Honestly, you'll begin to strategize and you begin to, guess what? Create. You are born to create. You are born to create and actually be resilient. And honestly, you need to begin to do that self-love for yourself and begin to understand how to love yourself. And how you do that is when you begin to actually put the gas in your car. And I mean the gas in your car in your mental, in your mind. Restore yourself. Restore yourself and begin to understand how you can always win. Begin to talk to yourself. Affirmations. Begin to say great things. I can do great things. I can do hard things. I'm accomplished. I can accomplish anything. I am wonderful. I am great. Begin to say that to yourself. Honestly, and first thing in the morning is the best time for me, I'm telling you. But if you like the morning, I'm telling you, telling yourself how great you are. I am magnificent. I am beautiful. I am courageous. I could do anything. Begin to tell that to yourself. And I promise you, it changed the scope of things. And honestly, it began to start a process in your mindset and began to start things out growing for yourself. And you'll begin to gravitate towards all creative opportunities. And honestly, people are going to be well with you. They're going to want to hang out with you. They're going to want to connect with you. And they're going to want to definitely vibe with you because you are full of energy. You're excited. You're definitely accomplished. And you're doing great, great things. Yes, you will. Oh my goodness. We got Kimbro is here. Hey, Kimbro. Catherine, thank you so much for saying hello to me. Thank you so much for Instagram. You are really vibing. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So honestly, this is really getting great, family. And I promise you, when you take a hold of these processes and begin to be aware of it, recognizing those toxic patterns for yourself, and then that's how you're going to be able to grab a hold of it and begin to make changes. I'm telling you, these work when you do it in this way. And I promise you, I'm a testament to it. I literally definitely began to group in these processes that I'm telling you, and it began to change the scope. The energy was better. I began to speak differently. I began to, you know what? This has worked for me in the past. Why not it won't work for me today? I can do this. I can do great things. Everything works out for me. And it began to roll off of your tongue. And it's going to be something, a pattern for yourself that's going to be engaging. And you're going to be confident and you're going to be resilient. And you're going to want to say, yes, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do the next thing. And I promise you, it's just going to be well with you. You're going to be confident. I'm telling you, your confidence level is going to increase. And it's going to be great for you. It's going to be a benefit for yourself moving ahead. It really is. I promise you it will. As we continue. Why do we often ignore red flags? And what can we do to change this contingency? What can we do? Well, what we can do is we can begin to really just not fear the processes, honestly. And honestly, it's a lot that goes on when it comes to how we just really don't want to do it. We don't want to do changes. We don't want to do changes, honestly. And honestly, when it comes to a process of change, because we're familiar, we're confident where we're at, why we got to change? You know, a lot of times we think that we can't do it. We thinking we can't do it and achieve success in those areas. It could be a multitude of reasons. It could be self-doubt. You know, honestly, you know, something have happened in the past and it didn't work out for you. It's like, why do I need to move forward in something else? Because it may not work out. You begin to say things like that to yourself. Honestly, recognizing those patterns of what you say to yourself, recognizing when you're saying things that are self-doubt for yourself, and begin to write that down. Like, wow, I said this to myself. You have to begin to understand what you're saying to yourself. The only way you can tackle it is when you're seeing it head on and take full responsibility for it and begin to understand how you can rebuild yourself and actually tell yourself this is something opposite, because you can do this. Because honestly, you got to build yourself back up in your confidence, and you got to begin to understand that those things are happening, and honestly begin to change it. You can change it by actually beginning to replace it with something better. You're saying, I can't. You said, I will. You're saying, I'm not enough, and saying, I have enough. Just changing those simple things and begin to write it down. It's real. You have to write down what the problem, and then write down the solution, and then write down what you want to do next. This is the problem. I can't. I can. I know I can do this, and this is how I can do this, because it worked for me before. There's nothing new. It's nothing new, and it works for you. And honestly, when you begin to write down everything that you want to achieve, when you begin to acknowledge how the things that you did not want, how you can always rebuild yourself up and begin to understand you can always strategize on something better. You can begin to get stronger. You'll begin to understand and recognize that you are resilient. You begin to understand that I am not by myself. Because a lot of times that's a trick. Honestly, that's a trick to say that you're by yourself. You're not. There's so many people that not only, won, and then they had more losses than you did. A lot of people are homeless. A lot of people have lost so much. Relationships, finances, friendships, health. You're not by yourself. And when you realize that you're not by yourself, okay, so now what? I can accomplish anything. Let's do this. Let's begin to understand that you can accomplish it all. And let's begin to understand that you can actually do it all. All you have to do is write it down. Make a decision. Decide that you can do this. When you decide that you can do this, when you decide that you can actually accomplish anything, and I promise you, when you make those decisions that I can, things start to change for yourself. I'm telling you, everything in your life began to change, and everything around you began to change. And it changes to the way that you want them to change. Because guess what? You have control over you. You have control over your reality. You have a control over everything that's happening around you. Always choose yourself. Always understand that I can achieve and I can actually accomplish everything. When you make the decision that you can, everything else is going to work out. And I promise you, when you make the decisions, you have the power. You have the pen. You have everything that you need. You write out what you want to do, and you write out and communicate with yourself and say, listen, I want to achieve these goals. And that's what you need to do is you want to write out your goals, put a time mark on it, and say, listen, the time that you want to achieve it in, and guess what? Let it go. And it's going to be achieved. And just keep on with your day. And keep on with your day. And I'm telling you, things are going to happen for yourself, and begin to change the way you are talking. Begin to say, I can do great things. I can accomplish anything. I can achieve everything that I just wrote down on this piece of paper. And I promise you, you're going to be able to achieve it. And you're going to be able to excel in everything that you're looking for. And you're going to be guess what? Self-doubt is going to leave. Denial is going to leave. Low self-esteem is going to leave. When you begin to declare and actually begin to decide that you can do anything, and all the fear is going to leave out of your life, because you know what? You're saying something totally different. But now you're not talking doubtful. You're not talking lackful. You're talking accomplished. You're talking that you can do anything. And let me tell you a trick. When you begin to change your mindset and you begin to live in the new now, The old leaves. It has to leave because it can't resonate with this prosperity talk. It's raining into doubt. Yet doubt and prosperity cannot reign together. You choose prosperity. So as you know, everything works out for you when you begin to choose the prosperity, choose the positive way of thinking. Lackful thoughts and negativity cannot reign. It just won't. I promise you it won't. As we continue, what steps can you take immediately if you recognize toxic patterns in your life? This is a great question. One thing that you can do is honestly begin the process of honestly to acknowledge when things are happening, and honestly acknowledge when those self-doubtful things are happening in your life, and when you can begin to understand appropriately makes those changes. You need to begin to set boundaries. Set boundaries for yourself. Honestly, you have to begin to process of say choosing you, choosing yourself. Cannot do everything at the moment, but I can do this. Begin to do time marks. Begin to schedule everything that you need to do. Starting from the beginning of the day all the way to the end of the day. Begin to say, listen, I know that I want to achieve certain things throughout the day, but my time frame to do it is not all day, but I know I'm able to do it at this hour. Begin to write it down, and guess what? Stay with it. Set boundaries for yourself and always do that. And honestly, communicate the issues that you have, communicate the concerns that you have. Because somebody around you and you are actually doing whatever you're doing, your processes, let's just say you have a project, you're at work and your business, and you have people around you, you need to communicate. Let's talk about this. I am actually available at this time, at this place, at this time, and I'm only available at this time. Begin to tell people that. You can't keep that in yourself because nobody knows. It's important for you to always communicate and make sure that others are on board with you when it comes to everything that's happening. Kimberly, oh my goodness. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much for following me. I appreciate you. God bless you. So a lot of times, these are happening within us. And a lot of times we have to make declarations for ourselves. And a lot of times begin to seek help if you need some support. It's okay to seek help. You are not an island by yourself. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Always know that. Always seek support. If it's a counselor, if it's a great friend, if it's a mentor, whatever it is, seek help. If you are not strong in certain areas, it's not saying that you can't do it, but you're not strong in that area. It's okay to say that. If somebody is better at finances in this area, let them deal with the finances. If you're better at the operation part, be with the operation part. If you're better at being the admin part, be the admin. And guess what? You're all able to work together. Because this is the thing. If you're strong in certain areas, that is your strength. And somebody else is strong in other areas, and then you work together, that's a collaboration. And that's how you're able to soar. You're able to soar when you do that consistently. And I promise you, it's going to be great for yourself. You're going to win. It's going to be great for yourself as you begin to put priorities to that and recognizing what you need. When you're recognizing, like I said, the toxic patterns, when you're recognizing these issues in life, you're able to strongly dilute these issues. And honestly, it becomes non-important anymore because you're not actually rooting and actually creating these patterns over and over again. Because guess what? You're choosing something different. You're choosing something different. And when you're making different choices, your rise above, I'm telling you, it's going to be great for you, honestly. Always know that you can always begin to do this process effectively.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Jay Mullane, also known as Wise, and we have some technical difficulties. I am the technical producer of the show, so we'll wait for when Queen Coach Lekeisha get back. All y'all join what you're seeing today. Make sure you put yes in the chat. If you join the information we'll provide today, put yes in the chat. Let her know that this information is definitely value. Talking about red flags and all the issues and stuff we deal in life. And one thing I have learned is the standpoint of accountability, right? Accountability to yourself, understanding that you should have limits and things that impact you. So be able to be accountable for yourself, realize who you are and the core values. We see that the amazing coach had returned. So with that, and then we go ahead and bring her back onto the stage. Hey, coach, how you doing? We
Hey,
know
hey.
you had a little pause for a second, so I step in. So, coach, it's back to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, King Wise. Thank you so much. Family. That's what I'm talking about. When you're a team, you had to do this together. Had some technical difficulties. So I'm so glad that we're able to keep this conversation going. But this is really great. So that's the great thing about having, people that are connected with you. You're able to keep this going. You're able to keep it going for yourself. So we were just talking about, just the toxic patterns, right? And just talking about how we can actually set those boundaries and how we can actually seek help if we need. And that's always important for us to do that. And always communicate where you can just really talk about it. Because a lot of times we don't feel like we're talking it out and actually being able to connect with ourselves. We have to begin to do that processes and to connect with ourselves, with others, so we can actually win, so we can actually communicate and actually move forward in greatness. And we can actually do great, great things. I am so happy, family. Oh, yes, absolutely. Focus Radio says, yes, teamwork. Oh, yes, teamwork make the dream work, right? It's true. It's true. Oh my goodness. That is amazing, King Daniel. I appreciate you, my brother. And when it comes to that, when we're actually connected together, honestly, we become a powerful force. We become a powerful force, family. And it's important for us to know that we can always achieve anything that we want to achieve when we're actually moving forward in that way, moving ahead. You're not by yourself. You don't have to be an island. You never have to do those things and never have to proceed in life that way. Because guess what? You can do great things. You can do anything that you need to. And if it was given to you for a reason, it was given to you for a reason, and you can accomplish it all. Always, always know that, and always begin to say that to yourself each and every day. I can achieve anything. I can do great things, and I can always accomplish it all. So it's so important for us to understand that. So when we identify these red flags, family, in the toxic patterns of life, it's essential for us to understand, even personal life and professional life, that we are always growing. It's important for us to empower each other and always understand that we can take control of it, and we can begin to understand and make the decisions to understand that we can actually protect our well-being. The whole point is for you to protect your well-being, protect your mental, and always protect yourself. Always having a strategy how you can break out of these bondage, because a lot of times it's things that happen maybe in the past, as a child. Somebody may have not been nice, may have not said certain things that, pretty much, today are not meaningful. They just didn't know. Maybe they didn't know, or maybe they did know. I'll be honest with you. Either or, whatever it is, make the decision for yourself that you can win, that you can achieve anything that you want to. And you can break these cycles, break these patterns of life to know that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve. So it's important for us to always know that, and important for us to excel anything that we need to excel in. So I will say this. It's important for us to understand that we can accomplish anything and we can always win when we need to win, family. I promise you, if you have a goal out there, if you have something out there in your life, you can achieve it. Write it down. Write it down. Begin that process and begin to work things out, and understand that you can break free from any patterns of life that are not fulfilling. You can. Like I said, seek the help that you need and always connect with somebody else to help you do it. You are not doing this by yourself, and you're always going to achieve anything that you want to achieve, family. You really, really can. So, with that being said, I'm just so excited for this episode, family. I'm excited that we are beginning to acknowledge this for each other in the Confused to Focus Hospital, Lekeisha. And I'm looking forward to us connecting with each other even more. And I'm loving the fact that we're able to excel, family, moving ahead. So with all that being said, we have an amazing feature for you, family. I would love for you all to connect with me on my website, family. So we're going to connect when it comes to my website. We're going to go into my website really quickly. Let's go ahead all the way then to our website. You can actually scroll into the features. You have my books, but how to get unstuck, confused, the focus is there. Those are resources as well for you. And also, you also have the amazing features when it comes to some of the events that are happening as well too. We have our amazing latest feature. It's our summit that's coming up. That summit that's going to come up that's talking about breaking free from a lot of toxic patterns of the past. And a lot of times we need to know how we can alleviate it from it. So this particular process is really going to be great for us to move forward in. And it's going to be on October 24th through the 26th. And I'm looking forward to each and every one of us to be there, family. So in due time, we will go in more detail about this, on the next episode. So I'm looking forward to us connecting with each other when it comes to that. So I want you to stay tuned to it because it's going to be great. It's going to be a few of us that are going to be coaches that are going to be talking about how to break from the toxic patterns of our past and how we're actually able to alleviate out of it from our viewpoint. Each and every one of us are coaches, and we are able to tell of our stories and able to tell you how you can actually break free for everything that you are holding on to and everything that you need to actually move forward into and moving out. And it's going to be great for you moving forward ahead. So I really appreciate each and every one of you to stay tuned to that because it's going to be a great conversation. So with that being said, I'm excited for this amazing episode, family. I'm looking forward to each and every one of you coming with us next week on the next episode and connected with us. Make sure you bring a friend. Make sure you connect with someone that's going to resonate with this show. And definitely make sure you connect with me for sure. I'm looking forward to connect with you when it comes to coaching, family. I am a midlife empowerment coach, and I'm looking forward to connect with you in all resilience and make sure that you break free from any issues and patterns that are holding you back, because that's my life's mission. I'm really excited about it. And I'm looking forward to us connecting with each other, family. So this has been such a great show, family, and I'm so excited for it. So I'm looking forward to us connecting again. So you already know how I end my shows. And all you do, lead with confidence, understanding, and love always. Make sure you have a great, great day, family. Make sure you invite someone on the next episode. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again. Make sure you be blessed, family. Have a great day.